This is a template for direct response Minisite, and as you can see, it's been created in Mozilla Composer. And it's a very simple, easy to create design, but also a proven and effective design. And I use it, and I feel it looks. It's not flashy, but it's usable. I feel it looks professional enough, and in my experience, it works well. But what I'm going to show you in this video is how to take this template design, this Minisite template, and expand upon it. Because you may, of course, in your Minisite, even if your Minisite is part of a larger site, so in a sense it's a microsite, or your Minisite is a subset of a larger content site. But okay, without getting bogged down in definitions, let's say you've got a Minisite which is more than just a single page. So what you want is some navigation. Okay, an example of a Minisite, or a page which, an example of a site which has a number of Minisites is, if you go to the browser, it's top 10 reviews, and they review lots of different products and in lots of different subject matters. If we go to the shopping cart Minisite, this in a way is a self-contained site which is but part of a bigger site. As you can see, the address is a subset, is part of the top10reviews.com site. It's shoppingcartreview.top10reviews.com. And this is a pretty advanced design. Of course, if you're interested in such a design, I don't recommend copying outright, but you can always learn a lot by going view source. And if you really want to get into the nitty-gritty of creating advanced HTML pages, but you don't have to get into this is a complicated page to create. You don't need to get into this really. You may wish to, but that really would be an advanced topic. So what I'm going to talk you through is how to get, in a way, similar functionality, but a much easier way. So let's go back to Composer. So the first thing you want to do is add navigation areas to the page, because this is the headline of the page. Text goes there, subheadings, more text, and so on. What I would recommend doing is adding navigation to the top and the bottom of the main section of the page. So place the cursor here, choose Table, insert row above, okay, and then click here again, Table, insert row below, and there's our blank row. So with a row above, well, let's say you've got just 5 pages, you would have a link to home, and then a good way to separate links is either to do space hyphen space or space, and I think this is called the pipe character, and then space with a vertical line, and you get that line by, okay, you may have a slightly different keyboard to me, but in the bottom left of the keyboard, right in the bottom left is the control key. If you go one key to the right and one key up, you've got the backslash key, and the pipe character, this vertical line, shares the backslash key. And to get the pipe character, when you press backslash, make sure you have the shift key. So that's the backslash. By pressing backslash, but with the shift pressed down, you get the vertical line. So you may wish to use that instead of the hyphen. But I'm going to use the hyphen in this instance. So space, hyphen, space, home, page 1, space, hyphen, space, page 2, space, hyphen, space, page 3, space hyphen space page 4. So let's center that. So format, align center, and let's say this is the home page. So generally, even though you include all the navigation links, the page you're on you don't make clickable. So let's quickly make these clickable, and then I'll demonstrate what I mean. So let's select this, insert link, and let's type in the home page is often index.html. Okay, that. Page 1, insert link, page 1.html. Page 2, insert link, page 2.html. Okay, you can see where I'm going with this. Page 3, insert link, page 3.html. Okay. Page 4, insert link, page 4.html. So what I've done is make those pieces of text clickable. I've turned them into hyperlinks. The home goes to index.html, page 1 goes to page 1.html, and so on. But let's say that this page here is my home page. If it's your home page, generally the link to home, you would leave it there, but you would not make it clickable. So let's remove that link. Let's see if we go insert link. If we delete that, delete the text. Okay, there we go. It stops being clickable. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to save that. Actually, I'm going to save as. And look, let's call it Minisite content template. Save that. And you see, what you can do then is click, hold and drag that, edit, copy, and add that. Click here, click in the empty row, edit, paste, and then center that, format, align, center, and maybe here in the contact area and the copyright text add a space or two, so it's separate from the navigation, just so it's spaced out slightly. I would advise, especially if you start having longer pages, having links, navigation links at the top and bottom. And you may wish to have the navigation on the left, in the center, on the right, whatever works best for you. And actually, let's make it Arial font. Let's make it a little bit smaller. Let's make it small. Okay, I think that works fine. So save. And now if we minimize that, let's minimize the browser. So there's our template, Minisite content template. I'm going to drag that into the browser and let's take a look. So that's how it looks. So it's a very basic design, but it's very usable. And I feel it works very well. As you can see, very easy to use and very functional. What you may perhaps wish to do is here, just as a small design extra. If you place the cursor at the start here, if you go insert horizontal line, and then at the end of the line press enter, and again choose insert horizontal line. Let's save, go back to the browser, refresh, and you can see what it does. You may wish to do that. It's just a small, very small design enhancement. You may feel that works well, or perhaps not. But you get the idea how easy it is to start adding navigation to an easy to create Minisite template. And finally, how do you actually get this Minisite working? Well, very simply, if we minimize the browser, minimize Composer. Okay, actually, excuse me, let me just quickly go back to Composer. We've created 5 links: index.html, page1.html, page2.html, page 3 and page 4. So you need to create 5 pages with those names. So let's minimize this. And what I would do is just click here, right click, we want copy, and then just click here on the desktop, right click, paste, and we then get a duplicate but in a slightly different name. As you can see, the original is called Minisite Content Template.html. This one is copy of Minisite Content Template. So what I'm going to do now is rename this. So right click, rename, oops, misclicked. We don't want to delete it. Let's try again. Right click, rename. So we want to call this one index.html. And again we do copy and paste. And a shortcut to do copy and paste is hold down the control key, which is in the bottom left of the keyboard, the CTRL key, the control key. So, okay, click once to select it, hold down the control key, and while holding down the control key, press C, so control plus C to copy, and then press control plus V to paste. So that's a very easy way, as you can see, to copy and paste. So control plus C and then control plus V to paste. So we want to paste 3 more times. So once, twice, and 3 times. So now we've got a total here of 5 files. So we've got our index.html file. We want to rename this, and a shortcut for renaming, rather than right click and choosing rename, a shortcut for renaming is make sure it's selected and then press F2, the F2 key, which is in the top left of the keyboard. So let's call this page1.html and then press enter. OK. Select that. Page2.html. Enter. Select this one. F2. Page3.html. Enter, and select this one, F2, page4.html, enter. So now, okay, these pages are all exactly the same because they're just a duplicate of each other, but they've got different names. So now if I was to drag this index.html document into the browser, okay, when the browser decides to respond, okay, I let go so we can see what our index.html page looks like. And that's how it looks, as you can see. So now if I click on this one, this page 1 link takes me to page 1. It's exactly the same, but you can see how it's working. And actually that's a mistake. I should now start customizing this page to obviously make it customized to whatever I want page 1 to be. So I would give it a different headline, change the text, change the subheadings, and I would then make the home link clickable and make the page 1 link not clickable because I'm on this page. The point of navigation is the page you're on right now, you take out the link to that page. And then page 2 goes to page 2, as you can see. Page 3 goes to page 3, and page 4 goes to page 4. Of course, this is just a template for creating a mini site with navigation. But I would of course advise, when you're actually creating the page, to give them better names and much more interesting text. So for example, for page 1, I would make the home, click, hold and drag to make the home text clickable. So the home text goes to index.html. Okay, page 1, we don't want that clickable because let's imagine we're working on page 1, so we don't want it clickable. Let me try again. Click somewhere on the text, insert link, select the text, delete, and OK that. Okay. But yeah, you want to give the links better names. So let's say, okay, home is fine. But let's say for page 1, just for example, all about coffee. And then page 2 could, cancel that. Click, hold and drag across page 2 link, and page 2 could be all about bread, just for example. And as you can see, as you type the text, the link stays the same. And then of course this prompts more questions. Do you want your pages to be called page1.html, or do you want to give them slightly more meaningful names, like for example coffee.html, bread.html? For example, if I minimize the browser, page1.html was about coffee, so I could press F2 to rename. F2, there we go. Alternatively, of course, I can just right click and choose rename, and then I can rename it to coffee.html and press enter. You may feel that's a more meaningful name. But that in a nutshell is how you create a Minisite template that has, for a Minisite that has content, that has more than one page, and how you link between them, and how you can start customizing the pages and the links and obviously the content itself by changing the headline and the text and the subheadings as you wish.